Hello fellow Helldivers, Thornton here, and we are out exploring some sea caves in San Diego. That being said, we are going to be talking about Liberty Day, which is about a month away, and last year was really fun. We got some cool armor sets, but what does Arrowhead have in store for this year? We're going to go over all of that, but without further ado, let's jump into today's topic.
The internet is abuzz. There is a bunch of new stuff coming to Helldivers, and it seems to be all modeled after the original game. And what we thought this was originally going to drop for just Liberty Day, which it definitely is, that is going to be on October 26th of this month, it does appear that it is going to be centered probably around a brand new Helldivers 1 Warbond that will be coming to the game, as we are getting a bunch of distinct skins and armor sets to go with that. As most of you know, last year for Liberty Day, we got two unique items. One was a free item, which is the R2124 Constitution. The other was the TP00 Tactical, which is an armor set from the first Helldivers game. These were actually free to us and they were distributed, and even if you didn't log in on that exact day, you were still able to get them. And what was cool about it is, well, this was the first time we actually got melee weapons introduced into the game with the bayonet on the Constitution. Outside of that, though, the Constitution has been a little lackluster and fans haven't been a huge fan of it. I do hope for this Warbond, or if it ends up being a free superstore, that maybe we get the AR-19 Liberator, which would be a little bit more helpful in the game. It's also a throwback to Helldivers 1. I've seen a lot of posts asking Arrowhead to give it to us, and it would be a lot more useful than, like I said, the Constitution. Not to mention, I would also love to see this be the time that they bring back that Killzone Warbond. They said that they were working on bringing ways to bring it back as a Warbond instead of a, superstore or sale like that. So having a Killzone Warbond come back as a legendary one alongside the ODST, well, we also get some free items, would be absolutely fantastic. In addition to that, there have been more stuff from the first game. You might have seen this new mech stratagem that I showed off the other day. With the mech suits now having the stratagem launcher, this is also a throwback to Helldivers 1, where the walker in the first game had the stratagem launcher. It's unclear right now if this is just going to be a skin or actually viable. I really hope it is, so I don't have to get on my walkers anymore to go ahead and reinforce people. I think this would be absolutely fantastic. And I myself actually made an error the other day. We have this Pelican model, and for some reason I thought it was the one that dropped the tube down to get the oils when we were trying to extract them from the Terminids. Turns out, and thanks to the commenter who actually posted this in the comment section, that is the Pelican model from the first game. So it looks like this will also include a Pelican skin for our extract that is once again a throwback to the original Helldivers 1 game. This is all absolutely fantastic, and it's going to be right around the time we have the new Democratic Space Station. It's brand new augmentations that we have a current major order going on for. If you haven't noticed, we have one where we got to hold 3 different planets against the squids, and also Hellmire, because it's always Hellmire, where we got to go ahead so that the DSS can be safely upgraded there, which is pretty interesting because last year around this exact same time we were actually constructing the DSS, so now we're getting upgrades a year later, and it could be pretty interesting. There is also one other big event coming at the end of the year, which is called the Festival of Reckoning. In case you didn't know it, it's a event or holiday that goes on in the Helldivers 2 universe that is funded through a finance ordinance expenditure against the enemies of Super Earth. It occurs around late December 2024, and it did involve last year a bunch of major orders where we got a bunch of fire weapons or explosive weaponry, and they were offered to players for free items like the Wasp launcher or the anti-tank mines. That was a lot of fun. But going back to, well, Liberty Day, I wonder if with all of our celebrations going on, it's going to be the time where the enemy factions finally decide to fight back against us after we've gone so far into their territory, and if it will lead to the multi-factional warfare which we've talked about. But let's go a little bit more in depth to that. Ironsights did let us know that with the mega cities, it does appear that multiple faction attacks are going to be a thing in the future. He said multiple factions can attack a planet at once. With the addition of the mega city system, each city can be individually targeted by a different faction, making it possible for a planet to be invaded by multiple factions at once. There's, as you can see here, the Terminids, there's also the Illuminate, and of course the Automatons. And there's actually something in the subtitle files that we've covered on this channel before where all 3 factions surge towards Super Earth, so that could very well be the outcome of something we see in the very near future. It's going to be really interesting to see how that all works. Something you're going to want to also know about that though, because there's a lot of questions about, well, are they going to fight each other? Ironsight said when asked can multiple factions be in one level at once, he said not at the moment, and then clarified further on Twitter saying that Arrowhead wants to go ahead and do it, and they actually tried, but the performance hit was too much. If you played Helldivers on PC, you might have noticed some stuff was struggling FPS. That would be part of the reason why they can't implement that. That being said, there's no reason to believe that doesn't happen in the future. And to be honest, it probably is actually actually going to happen. Because if you've been paying attention to some of the leaks and stuff that's been posted, there are some users that are showing actual gameplay of the Illuminate fighting the automatons on certain battles. Now, this is obviously stuff using cheats and hacks and other things, but it does show that the game can actually run the automatons and the Illuminate fighting each other on the same map. So it looks like Arrowhead has probably figured out how to get this to work, and it's something we're going to see in the very near future. You're actually seeing it on screen right now, and overall it looks pretty cool. However, with the most recent amount of bugs and issues that have been plaguing the game, I don't know if it's still compatible or even feasible that they could get this to work on a large client base and get everyone in the game having it work without any major issues. So there's still definitely a possibility that this gets scrapped, just because, well, even though modders and cheats and hacks were able to get it to work, the larger player base as a whole may not be able to handle it, and they really need to upgrade their engine. Another important thing though with all this going on is, well, we might actually be getting some help. See, Asunder and Ironsights were both talking on Discord the other day, and Asunder made the point they removed the technician. It's the perfect time to introduce the Hellbot at the moment, and Ironsights said he was thinking the same thing with the eyes, which makes me think that they know something's coming up, especially because Ironsights also clarified they added new audio files for the Hellbot. Now, in case you don't know what the Hellbot is, this is it right here. It's basically a thing that kind of looks like Chappie, if you've ever watched that movie. But how it currently works, according to Ironsights, is it serves as a vendor to purchase certain unique items and can join you in solo missions. It seems like this part is the one that was unfinished, so we won't know if that actually comes in. They changed how stratagems work just before release, which kind of made the Hellbot exchange system useless, so they will likely need to touch up the Hellbot before bringing it back in game. But this is really exciting. It'd be really cool to, once again, very similar to the Thief, as we now know AI will work and Arrowhead's pretty good at actually developing it, have a Hellbot that will actually be able to run around and assist us. But if we go ahead and actually get a new Hellbot to help us in serving in place of the technician, well, Baskinator let us know some news that we might be getting some more enemy types. As they said, we had the other new enemies added the week before. This was kind of split into two updates, but it's kind of one whole idea. You never know what will show as we go along though. So it does appear that the Illuminate is once again gonna get another invasion force with the one that we're currently fighting. In fact, Johan Pietelstedt said on Twitter, when asked about when is the Illusionist coming into the game, he said, well, you don't want to fight the Illusionist because the Illusionist is actually probably one of the next units added in. It has the most amount of stuff actually added in the game file. Right here, you can actually see the placeholder model. It's pretty much completely done. It sits in the chair. It kind of reminds me of a Prophet from Halo, if you're a fan of that game series, and it's a magical base unit. And the reason why it's going to be such a pain in the butt when this thing finally comes in is it has an explosion radius, and Ironsights actually showed it to us right here. And as you can see, this thing is absolutely massive.
Let me know down below, guys, what are your thoughts on Liberty Day? What are you hoping to see with it? And also, don't forget to check out this video right here where I cover news on Helldivers 2 on the daily. And until next time, everyone, thanks for stopping by. Keep spreading managed democracy.